On the Golden Globes last Sunday, I saw Tina Fey and Amy Poehler making fun of Bill Cosby and these rape allegations. What I saw in front of me was not funny at all. It was clearly one of the cruelest things I've ever seen. And what's even sicker about it is, you know, how these white people out here and these liberals are trying to justify it by saying that comedy is edgy and this is it's just spin as I see it because I know the entertainment industry backwards and forwards, and this is just spin. What was done to Bill Cosby on the Golden Globes was cruel and insensitive. It was just cruel because as a guy who writes comedy, and I don't have to get nasty like that. I never have to get nasty like that. I mean, I've done comedy in my fantasy stories like the ISIS series. I've done comedy. I created a sitcom called All About Nikki, and I put comical moments in stories all around, and I don't have to get cruel like this. This was a deliberate and intentional act of cruelty, and I'll say it's racist because it out and out pretty much show the racism that these two women and their contempt that they have for Bill Cosby. I mean, to mock this man and make fun of these false allegations shows me, where how they feel about black people, and it's just racism was pure and simple on display at the Golden Globes. And what's even sicker is what I've seen in many of these talk shows and TV shows. All of these people trying to justify the behavior of these two white women. But this is par for the course when it comes to Hollywood. The liberal always likes to give the white woman a free pass. And I tell black people all the time, look, you can't give this white woman a free pass because basically she's on stealth mode, and what she does is she goes under the table expressing the true feelings that many of these liberals have. And what's really dangerous about her is that most black people will give women like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler a free pass, and not understanding that you know if they're allowed to express, if they express these views, you don't know who else expresses those views, because you have to understand one core component of white supremacy is that it's not the white man that's the most dangerous person in the room. It's this white woman who is the most dangerous in the room. And I went into this in a previous video where I talked about white women and free passes. And what's dangerous about this white woman is that she is the transmitter of culture to society. I mean, as David Carroll says in many of his videos, as the black woman goes, so goes the race. Well, I have to rephrase that. As the white woman goes, so goes America. And if this behavior is the standard for white women, like when you see these Tina Feys and Amy Poehler's making these jokes about guys like Bill Cosby, this is how many white people feel. This is how many of these so-called liberals feel. They don't want to say this behind the scenes. See, they'll put on this tolerant face and say that they're tolerant of black people and they're understanding of black people and they're even accepting of black people. But this is how they really feel. Because what I saw there was no different than watching your Klansman making statements about black people. What I saw there, talking about he put the pills in the this was a slap in his face, and it's the only thing you can say was. I mean, if Chris Rock was to get on that stage and talk about Woody Allen and his pedophilia, the networks would ruin his career over it. But this is justified and spun as two sweet innocent white girls being edgy, and it's not edgy at all. Or I mean, because again, I can go back to that example of Chris Rock making fun of Woody Allen and his pedophilia, or Stephen Collins and his pedophilia, or Roman Polanski and his pedophilia. But we want to make they want to make fun of Bill Cosby with false allegations and false unsubstantiated allegations. And it's just that what I saw there was a low blow, a cheap shot, and it needed. And what's sad is we got people who won't call this for what it was. And as a guy who understands media, I saw what happened there, and what happened there was a pimp slap to the face of the black community. But sadly, many black people are just going to sit there and take this one instead of calling it out, holding these people, holding Tina Fey and Amy Poehler accountable, and even holding NBC, the network, accountable, because what was presented here on the Golden Globes was an insult to black people. I mean, for you to go after Bill Cosby like that, with that type of cheap shot, um, on unsubstantiated claims and you know, unsubstantiated allegations, it shows how low you can be. Because again, what I saw there was not comedy. As a guy who writes comedy, I understand what's funny and what's not funny. And what was presented there was completely tasteless, utterly reprehensible. The behavior there, I mean, it was disgusting. It was a blatant, out and out racism, and there is nothing anybody can say that can justify this to me, because I understand comedy, I understand satire, I understand the mechanics of comedy. Again, I'm a screenwriter who has 7 or 8 years experience in screenwriting, so I understand mechanics of comedy. I understand timing and execution, and I understand stand-up bits. This was not funny at all. This was a blatant attempt to attack Bill Cosby and to smear Bill Cosby. And black folks need to call this out and say you're not going to stand for it. I'm saying that I wouldn't stand for it. That's why I'm making this video, because I understand what good comedy is, and what I'm seeing a lot with people call themselves pushing in the envelope stuff. I mean, this is not pushing the envelope. This is just two women being mean and nasty. I mean, and this is from a guy who was written a sitcom about a girl who was supposedly who is mean and nasty and understands what this is. I clearly understand what this is. And this is just an attempt to attack Bill Cosby and then thinly veil it and place it and say it's a joke. It's not a joke. This is how they truly feel, because you have to understand, this is what way got people like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, Seth Rogen, all these type of people, this type of sarcastic type comedy. What they do is they go under the table and they try to make it like a joke, but it's truly how they feel about this person, and this is what they want to express. And I really looked at many of the clips of the Golden Globes, because I really didn't watch this thing. I just saw those clips, and it looked like it were really Hollywood showing its true colors to me. Because I saw with the Oscars last year with 12 Years a Slave, the other slap in the face to black people that they just sit there and take. Scandal and all this other, but really with the Oscars with the 12 Years a Slave, it's another slap in the face. And black people just keep taking slaps to the face instead of saying, look, no more slaps. Enough already. I mean, I keep waiting for the rest of the black community to wake up and say, enough is enough, Hollywood. We've had enough of your disrespect. You coming at black people and attacking us and presenting these stereotypes, and then attacking people like Bill Cosby, and then trying to make it look like you're so innocent. It's what they call edgy humor. I know what edgy humor is. I know what comedy is. And what I saw there was not comedy. What I saw there was an attack on a man and his legacy, and an attempt to continue to tarnish this man's legacy. You know, and it just disgusted me as a guy who does comedy. It just disgusted me. It offended. I mean, this was not again. This was not comedy at all. And I can't get with this. I can't justify it. I can't make excuses for it. I don't care who makes excuses for it, but I'm not going to make excuses for it. This is the type of stuff that I make stands on and stand against. You know, because I don't find that type of stuff to be funny. Because I understand comedy. You have to understand mechanics of comedy to understand when somebody is making a joke that you laugh with people, or a joke that you're trying to make that where you're laughing at people. And what we saw from Tina Fey and Amy Poehler was a joke where they were trying to laugh at Bill Cosby at his own expense. I mean, it was just That's all I can say for it. And that's all I can say about it. In this video, you can comment, rate, and subscribe.